Looks like we're live now. What's up, everybody? It's Dan Barrett from AdWords and Nerds. How are you? Wonderful people. I hope you're having an excellent day. I'm going live. It is a little bit early this Tuesday morning in Connecticut. It is freezing cold, and I want to talk to you about something that's really, really helpful. If you are an investor and you're looking to grow the number of motivated sellers you are getting right now, I'm going to give you a really kind of big picture strategic thing you can think about that's going to have a massive impact on your investing business over time. Now, this is not one of these things where it's like, hey, do this thing, you're instantly going to get leads, and it's not the way it works. Instead, what I'm radically change the quality of your business. Technique, the strategy we're going to talk about today is the 10% rule. Now, if you are a consumer of business books, self-help books, you may have run across Jim Collins. God, I hope I got his name right. I think it's Jim Collins. Jim Collins has written a bunch of books. From Good to Great is probably his most famous one. I think it's just called Good to Great. He's got a whole series of these that are all called something to something. So it's like good to great, awesome to excellent, or whatever it is, right? Anyway, you should read them all. And I forget which one he talks about this rule, but he breaks down this rule in one of these books, and they're all excellent, so go check them out. But I will give you the guts of what you need to know now. Collins calls this the 10% rule. And the essence of the 10% rule is that any business should be spending about 10% of its time, 10% of its resources, 10% of its capital experimenting with something that could radically change that business for the better. And the reason is that if your business, let's just take marketing, because marketing is what I do. Most of you know I do online marketing for motivated sellers, right? So let's talk marketing. If you are a business that is reliant on a single channel of marketing for all your leads. So for example, you are doing direct mail works well from you, and that's what you do direct mail as an investor, right? Very, very common. And in fact, I would say most investors, if you look out at the competitive landscape, they're only doing direct mail, right? So you're only doing direct mail, awesome. You get a really great return on investment. The problem is that if something happens to that channel, for example, if something happens to the direct mail channel in your market, if somebody comes in and just blasts every list with like millions of pieces, or you get a flood of newbies into the market, or even just something happens to the market in general, like, right? If that channel changes, if the ROI formula that you're using changes, if your provider for those pieces jacks up their prices, right? If any of that happens, the effect on your business is absolutely massive. It's your only source of leads. And so if something happens to that source of leads, you could literally go out of business if you can't adapt to that fast enough. So what ends up happening is that the more reliant on a small number of inputs your business is, the more fragile it becomes, the more disruptible, the more likely to self-destruct if anything changes in that environment. So you just want to think reliant on a single channel of marketing, that equals danger. Jay Abraham, one of my favorite business authors of all time, he calls this the diving board. Your business is shaped like a diving board. And you got like one column here supporting it. That's your marketing. And then on top of that column, you've got this huge business that's just kind of going up and down like this. I'm going to do it this way. How's that look? He says, instead of this diving board, what you want is a Parthenon. The Parthenon in Greece, what does it look like? Well, it's got several columns. Each column is a channel of marketing. Now, the diving board's got one channel of marketing supporting the whole thing. It's going up and down the whole time. But the Parthenon, boom, 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 several channels. That roof on top of that Parthenon, that's very stable, right? Now, we know this. I think most people intuitively know this. If you're relying on only one channel for your marketing, that's going to be risky. And it could be, doesn't matter what the channel. If you're only doing direct mail, risky. Only doing online marketing, risky, right? How do we get around that? Because we don't want to just wantonly spend money. Obviously, we got to spend our money on the thing that's already working, right? That's producing an ROI. How do we decide how to add new channels, how to add new things? How do we build the Parthenon if we have the diving board? Well, this is where Collins' 10% rule comes in. Spend 10% of your time, 10% of your resources, 10% of your capital testing. If you are doing direct marketing, you're saying like, okay, I'm going to spend 10% of my time, 10% of my capital, and I'm going to test pay-per-click marketing. I'm going to test search engine optimization. I'm going to test Bing ads, right? If you're already doing Google ads, you're like, cool, I've been doing Google ads. I get a great ROI on that, right? Average, I think, for our clients is they close about 1 out of every 20 leads. Cost per deal acquisitions around 2,000 to 4,000, depends on your market, right? But that's producing 3 times ROI. Awesome, you're crushing it. Well, now maybe I add Bing ads. Maybe Bing ads is going to work. Maybe Facebook ads is going to work. 10% of your time, 10% of your resources, testing a new channel. Now, many of these channels may underperform. They may not be as good as your original channel, but you are building stability, right? They may not be as good as direct mail for you, but if they're producing deals, well, this provides security in the the off chance that your direct mail channel blows up and you can't use it anymore. And many of those experiments might be outright failures. You might lose money and say like, all right, cool. Well, I knew what I was going to spend. I knew what I was going to risk. It didn't work out, so I lose that thing, but I'm not going to spend money on it forever. And, you say, sorry, right? Didn't work out. It's too bad, but it's fine. And every once in a while, one of those experiments is massively better than what you have. Now, if you think about what your primary marketing channel does for your business, think about having 2 of those or 3 of those or 4 of those. I mean, you're literally talking about 200, 300, 400% improvements in your business, if not more, because all those channels tend to interconnect and talk to each other. It tends to be geometric rather than algebraic, we should say, improvement, right? So if you can add even just one of those new channels that's doing as good as or better than your primary marketing channel over the next year, that will have a massive, massive, massive impact on your business. Heck, even if you only did that every 5 years, you'd be way ahead of the average investor, probably way ahead of most people in your market. That's people in your market. The challenge here is doing this systematically, because if you try it and give up and you try and you give up and you try and give up and like, this didn't work, I quit, then you never end up making the changes you need to make in order to find those diamonds in the rough, the thing that really works. So the 10% rule is really powerful here, because you just say, look, I'm going to spend about 10% on my time, on my resources, or whatever. Maybe you spend more if you want to pay someone to do it for you because you don't want to do it. But whatever it is, you figure out what you invest, and you invest it systematically. And you know that some of those are going to work, some of those aren't. But the system, following the process, is what's going to get you to that massively awesome end result. And that is the 10% rule. Let me know what you think. Leave a like, leave a comment. I appreciate you. I'll talk to you later. So Dan Barrett from AdWordsNerds.com signing off. Bye-bye.